Hello, my name is Christopher Kirksick with McClatchy Insurance Agency, and today we're sitting down with Jonathan Kirksick, who just so happens to be my brother, who's the owner of a restaurant by the name of Cacio in the Pocket area of Sacramento, and we're discussing insurance coverages specific to restaurants. So, Jonathan, as an owner of a restaurant, what are some concerns that keep you up at night?
I'd say the biggest one would be having a hood fire or a kitchen fire, because you don't know how much extensive damage could happen. It could be a simple fire, it could be something that happens quickly and then is out, or it could be devastating to your business and the businesses next door. Vandalism is another one because they're not expected. I mean, a kitchen fire is not expected either. Any accidents are not expected, but with vandalism, it can occur at any time, and it's just such an inconvenience. Whether it's somebody breaking a table, a chair outside, ripping apart your curtains outside, throwing your heater down, or just etching your windows, which is going to force you to have to replace windows. And then we've had an incident where we actually did have to replace all of our windows, but the deductible was about what it was going to cost to replace the windows. So instead of going through the insurance and having to deal with a possible knock on the insurance being used, we just opted out to pay out of pocket to get them replaced. And I think, if you have the opportunity to do that, you have the funds available, it's going to make it easier and more sense in the long run to do it that way.
Mentioning a fire, obviously if you had a fire, probably be out of business for a while, correct?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So there's a coverage called business income interruption, which would help that. So anytime you have a covered loss, whether that's a fire, a burst pipe, or somebody rams into the restaurant and shuts you down, your bills don't stop. You still have bills to pay.
Right.
Your employees, expect a paycheck. So that coverage would help cover all of those items that you wouldn't be able to pay for
without being open.
Right. Absolutely. So didn't you also recently have an issue with your hood fan or something?
It was a few years back, yeah. The hood fan went out, and it was on a Tuesday afternoon. So we lost Tuesday dinner service, lunch service, and Wednesday and Thursday service because it took that long to get the motor in and then have a company come out and install it, which again, have a professional install it because I tried installing it myself when I fried the first fan. So yeah, it's important to have a professional involved.
Well, so equipment breakdown would help with that issue. But if you had, if your walk-in went out and it went out for 4 days, I'm sure you have quite a bit of inventory in your walk-in.
I'd lose a couple days worth of inventory, yes, in food.
So there's also coverage for food spoilage for situations like that, which would replace all of your lost inventory.
Right.
So what about slip and falls? Is that something that causes concern for you?
Sometimes it would, but for here, we have a small restaurant, and I make sure all my employees wear non-slip shoes, and I'm very, very diligent on anything hits the floor, gets picked up, cleaned up immediately, because you don't want to slip and fall. Because if it's an older client or customer that ends up slipping and falling, there's a possibility of breaking a hip, breaking bone. That's where it gets expensive.
Absolutely. That would be covered under your general liability policy. If an employee slipped and fell, that would be covered under your workers' comp.
Right.
I'm sure there's concern with you too, having employees in the kitchen, there's slippery surfaces, there's knives.
Hot surfaces, knives, yes. You always want to make sure you train everybody on how you want things done or how they're supposed to be done so you minimize the risk of having any of those types of injuries.
You guys probably handle a lot of transactions through credit cards, correct?
Yes, we do. Probably 75-80% of our business is credit cards.
So it's very important to have cyber insurance coverage for any type of insurance or breaches for
deposits, transactions, and so on.
And your client's sensitive
information,
credit card information. Yes. Potentially, you might have a dishonest employee that could take their information and use that fraudulently as well. And again, that would be covered under the cyber insurance.
Yeah.
So I imagine you run a lot of transactions through credit cards with your POS system, right?
Probably 75-80% of our business is, through credit card processing.
So if that system got hacked and your customer sensitive information got leaked, cyber insurance would help you with the notification costs and making your customers whole if their information was somehow compromised.
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize that.
It's becoming more and more important the way things are handled these days with transactions online, credit cards, and people, things are getting hacked. You see it in the news all the time. And so it's not just for large organizations that handle people's sensitive financial information, but also small businesses like yours.
Yeah, one of the things we do is we don't do any credit card transactions over the phone or online just because of those things. So everything has to be chip read here in the restaurant. Reduce things.
It's very smart to help mitigate your risk. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, Restaurant insurance isn't just about checking the boxes for your landlord. It's making sure that you're covered for things like fire, equipment breakdown, slips and falls, and potentially compromising your customers' information by your systems getting hacked. So,
Right. No, that's why it's nice to have an insurance agent like yourself that'll take care of these things for me.
I appreciate that. So if you have any questions, please give me a call at McClatchy Insurance Agency, where we build coverages for the way you do business.